The market is very interesting, as I was telling my colleagues. It's really interesting. We've been here observing in previous lives, in Friday's live, basically how we were at those sweet spots, where there was a very favorable risk-reward factor to look for those long opportunities in the market up to this guideline. And if we were lucky and Jesus Crypto was on our side, the macro structure could be broken. If you see Bitcoin doing this to you, well, it's already out here. Don't you want to have all this version of the loss? Okay, wait to enter lower on the test, for example, so that your loss is smaller in case it goes wrong. But of course, remember, you're going for this and speculating on something else, okay? This idea was supported by a cross-analysis, that on one hand, here we are seeing Bitcoin, the momentum. Here is its W, here is its poor I. Here already at that time, we wanted to go look for that Z. Well, we didn't want to go look for it. Here I am lying to you. Once it was already starting to develop, we could see that it was a Z that had a margin of decline, right? Then we observed that they could compress us against that guideline. Finally, they decided to break, and in their test, we connected live again to give the hypothesis to the idea that this guideline should be contacted because we were experiencing a complex corrective pattern in the way we had done it. This is Bitcoin. But Ethereum was telling us something very interesting, that here we had a bearish impulse, that this is a W, that this is a Y. And here the hypothesis was, when we connected live in this area, that if this guideline was not lost, something that was tried but not lost, it was most likely that we would experience a Z, a bullish Z, of course. A bullish Z, which you can't deny, we've obtained knowing that the Z, one of its variants, is very aggressive with a lot of momentum and directionality. They break the guideline, test it, and generate the movement. But, in other words, here we have a bearish impulse. A bearish impulse, which has given us a W here, has given us a strong I. And it is now at the current moment, just like in Bitcoin, that we must assess whether the price will be able to respect the current levels. Since if the I is unable to break its guideline, if it cannot break it downwards, there will be a rebound in search of a Z. We don't know if it will be in time consumption to look for something aggressive, to be something aggressive directly. It remains to be seen. All of this was accompanied by the hypothesis of the idea, well, that here we had a crick, that all of this was an accumulation and that we had to go upwards. On one hand, from what we saw in Bitcoin, and on the other hand, hence the cross-analysis from what we were seeing in Ethereum, since we were also in a defensive zone on that guideline. And as we can see, they wanted to play a little trick on us before offering the macro movement we were looking for. This is Bitcoin, Ethereum. But well, we can see this in the entire crypto ecosystem, in Cardano, the same in Cardano. Do you remember, right, that we were on the macro guideline? This line's so well sought after for a long time now, and we see that the price is here with all the context of Bitcoin. Ethereum, it was a situation, a context, as I was saying, that we don't know with total honesty if the price will go up or down, since we have no idea and no one can know. But what we could be clear about was that on Friday we were in a context of maximum opportunity. In other words, we had to take the opportunity, but here I see a strong bearish impulse, and here I see the attempt at its replica. Why are we betting? Or what would we like to see happen? That the harmonic fails, that it is not of the same length, that it falls short where it is, and that it fails. Because if this were to happen, and again, we are seeing Bitcoin and Ethereum at that key level, where you shouldn't go down more than 3 meters for the strong bullish hypothesis to occur. We see that Cardano is telling us a very similar story. If we want to bet on the failure of the replica, my friend, don't lower me much more. Notice that this is very speculative, but well, that's also what trading is about. Let them clean up if they want, huh? Let them clean up here, okay? But not much more, you understand? Not much more? We have to look and in any case bet on its failure, since at a macro structural level, macro, we are still in low operating zones, and that's where we look for the longs. If we zoom in on Cardano, we will realize that we are facing the base of a key structure, that we are already placing a creek, and that again the price, you see, like Ethereum, is in a zone, so to speak, extremely limiting. Very interesting areas to prioritize long searches over short searches. Yes, definitely. And then, if the price went against us, we were very aware that we were going to give it very little to undo a position whose objective was going to be ambitious. Without a doubt, the ambition is much higher. And that's where we put more focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum, especially on Bitcoin, since we were betting on contacting this level, and if Jesus Crypto wanted to break. And now, of course, we are going to update the analysis. This was with Cardano, but we can also talk about Solana. Look, Solana, like bang. We connect live in a defensive zone as well. How casual, how magical, how the stars align and promise us or tell us that we could be facing a key area. Where here I remember telling you, hey, here we are speculating heavily on the harmonic failure, which, as you can see, is not of the same length and finally failed. Here I had prepared for you. I remember across saying that in Solana Solana, we had to have a little act of faith and think that we were going to have a harmonic failure, therefore we would obtain an opposite movement. All this, obviously, with the cross-analysis we have been sharing. And here I ask myself the following question again. Just like Cardano, Solana may be suggesting a harmonic failure and that it does not succeed, and then believe later in a structural breakthrough. Frankly, as I said, we don't know. But in the event that all this magic does occur, then we will look back and realize that the current moment is very good for speculating on such price increases in cryptocurrencies, whether to fight with structures or even to break them. Do you know how this goes in the world of trading? It's all about streaks. We've had a couple of really good weeks, especially the last 2 weeks, and as I always say, when we get on a streak, well, it's not going to be infinite. There will be days when we will be less accurate, and that's part of the game. Therefore, as I was also telling you in the last sessions, let's take advantage of these opportunities that the market is offering us because it is really behaving in a, let's say, very healthy way. A very healthy way. And when the market consecutively goes days, weeks, without playing too much with our vision of how to interpret the markets, that's when we should take advantage of it because in the end, as I said, it goes in streaks. The important thing is that the bad streaks are very short and the good streaks are very long. And well, I see a lot of people who are taking the longs. These longs, many members have been taking them. Many messages from colleagues sharing their captures, thanking for the analyses we are sharing. Colleagues warning that specific cryptos were at key points mentioned in the live. So in the end, here the members of Crypto Insight understand what we are doing and contribute to the community by warning. Hey, what we talked about in the live is happening now. The opportunity is happening now. There were colleagues who were warning. I invite you all to join this cause. Let's update. It's not going to be difficult to update this. It's not going to be difficult at all. In the end, what were we waiting for, right? Regarding the impulse, all this correction delimited by this guideline, see how they went to validate it before breaking it. It is being recognized here. In other words, we were not saying anything silly with this hypothesis, and now we see that it has broken with a lot of volume, no doubt. What else? Here we see Ethereum, what we were analyzing, right? Regarding the bearish impulse, the W, the I, and all this is a Z that is dangerously approaching a key defensive zone. Key in what sense? This defensive zone does not have to exert infinite constant pressure. What do I mean? If the price comes, the price is not obligated to react downwards. There will be an attempt. There will be a temptation, but we will evaluate it very differently. We will evaluate it as follows. If we see that this defensive zone is finally surpassed, if they somehow surpass it, that ultimately implies that they are no longer able to defend with such strength, and we will then pay attention to what you are going to see next. This micro Z, referring to this impulse, I don't care in the sense that it can go to the sky, and I don't care. I forget about the Z of this Z. I'm going to focus on this, on an impulse, on a EW. All this is a I pour, as a concept. And now we are working on the macro Z stretch. The macro Z, from what I'm seeing, is going to occur explosively if we penetrate the defensive zone. If this is penetrated, the explosiveness will simply continue. And hey, we will either go back to the origin of the breakthrough or we will at least go for this guideline. For all this to happen, I repeat, for all this to happen here, I want to emphasize that we do not pretend to have a crystal ball or want to be Ronaldinho Gaucho here, being the ones who dribble the institutional charts. Far from it. We are simply observing that this defensive zone, which has also worked regarding this bearish impulse, if surpassed, nothing will stop the price from seeking an aggressive macro Z regarding the great bearish impulse, this one here which precedes it. Welcome to Crypto Insight, your ethical and moral channel for cryptocurrency technical analysis. Here, we really know what we're talking about. We conduct advanced technical analysis that has been developed for over 12 years. We upload videos several times a week. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, let me know and leave a comment with your opinion. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss the next opportunity. I've said it. We're not trying to say this will happen for sure, not at all. We simply have here, so to speak, an indicator much better than Bollinger Bands, or I see, moving average crosses, and that is the price structure and understanding the context of the defensive zone, the context of how corrective patterns work. That said, look at Cardano. It's still at the base of a channel. It's still there. For me, we've already talked about this, but these people who have sold us keep defending their position. There's no doubt. And look how far we are from threatening these people. There is room for upside, of course there is. There There is room. And what has Cardano done? Well, it has just broken a clip. It has just broken a clip, and forcefully, with strength and volume. This is important. It must be given importance. Here we will see if after this breakthrough they propose to us. Let's see how. I'm going to try to draw it better, but let's see if they start proposing some kind of channel that ends aggressively. Let's see all this with great emphasis on Ethereum, which is our indicator. You see, there is Ethereum's zone. But what is our biggest indicator? In Cardano, we simply say that at a macro level, look where the channel's ceiling is and where the floor is. We are at the damn floor. Speaking frankly, and here they have just compressed us at a micro level, and we have broken the microstructure. I mean, what do you do at the floor? You buy. What do you do at the ceiling? You sell. What do you do at the floor? You buy. Of course, at some point this fails and breaks, or it breaks from here, of course. But as long as it doesn't break, hence the emphasis on looking for the long here, well, the risk-reward factor will be in our favor. In this case for the long, as we are at the base of a macro structure, okay? And look at Solana. Look at Solana. Solana is interesting, huh? It's interesting. They have made the impulse here, the EDWI, an aggressive Z. They went to break the guideline. It seems they failed. And now they are proposing to us this level. Look, does it catch your attention that Solana is here, the snitch of the institutions, telling us, hey, yes, it's very nice that we are at a market extreme. The low part, wanting to look up, very nice what you're telling me, but if we don't surpass this in Solana, we're not going to move much more. And Dylan says, Sol remains the best indicator. Well, the truth is I don't know if I have an obsession with Solana. Let me tell you that I don't. Not at all. Or if Solana tends to be a very, very good indicator, really, of the market, in the sense that Solana, at specific moments like now, I'm not saying that Solana is very important and moves the market. Solana is insignificant. Next week, we will pay attention to Cardano. 2 weeks from now. Well, we'll see. But well, my main focus is Ethereum. You know that, but well, Solana is going to be more reactive in the immediate term. That's clear, that's clear. Because what do we have on the table? Look at Bitcoin, huh? This is a bit of a buzzkill. What I'm about to tell you, huh? We have the impulse, the channel. Here's a range and a climactic action. Honestly, I see it as very fragile, and I don't want to be as negative as to say, that's where the party ends. Hey, you never know, but we need to monitor it, of course. Now, what do I want to see? I want to see this. Why do I want to see this? I'm interested in seeing this horizontal line that I've drawn for you, to know if they want to pull off the classic structural trap, right? Where they define a maximum. It looks like it breaks it to go to infinity and beyond. Trap you and then go away. Let me explain. That's why we have to be careful. This could also be circumstantial in the sense of, okay, if it's a trap, but because I want to make a flat pattern, maybe with a little trap, because I want to work this angle and then go away. I mean circumstantial in terms of momentum over time, that this acts immediately to generate some kind of drop. It could be. It could be. From here, we'll monitor this horizontal level of Bitcoin as an indicator. How beautiful that Solana, by its nature, is already encompassing the price below the level, and well, Bitcoin is proposing it by the idea of breaking that recent high. Here we have the all-time high. This is the recent high, and people are paying attention here. But hey, in the end, the bias is bullish, right? We're not working on this to break from such a deep low with so much volume, being so close to the all-time high. Come on, please, do whatever you want, but go to 78. Let's close that ugly gap. To the question, is this something 100% certain? In the end, what are we looking for? Solana to break with solvency. For this to break with solvency. Here, watch out, because we'll be setting up a critical zone, which will be this one. Let's face it. But in the end, here we have room. We have room in Cardano to rise in Ethereum. Soon we're going to encounter a stopper. They're going to ask us questions here. They're going to ask for our passport, and let's hope we have an updated visa to get them to open the way for us to rise. But here they're going to ask for our passport. We shouldn't take anything for granted. I don't know if the message is being understood a bit, or do you want me to explain it in a different way? Okay, great. Thank you, colleagues. Don't hesitate to say, hey, I don't quite understand it. Tell me without any hesitation. That's why I ask, okay, so that if there's someone who doesn't, then explain it in a different way. I ask sincerely for that, not for anything else. Okay, this is Polkadot, a bearish impulse. This replica that seems not to want to prosper failed, has left a gap. This breakout is relevant, and there's room to reach the structure. Well, in the end, we're in the classic of if it's a tricky breakout from Crick, you turn around right now. It's the classic. That's how it is. But I don't want to be negative. Honestly, call it what you want. Everything, obviously, has been through a cross and quite developed technical analysis. But here too, in this world, the eye develops a lot, let's say, a sixth sense. There's something that develops, and I have a firm belief about what I'm telling you, that can only be seen over time. And nothing. Keep being positive, knowing, being very clear that yes, this could be a little trap, but maybe they'll make us a mini flat pattern here. They'll look for a guideline here and then they'll just go straight up. Well, if we see things going down, I wouldn't be scared. I wouldn't be scared because Solana is already telling us, hey buddy, here I react if I want to, and then I see if I break. And if I break, here we'll meet. And Ethereum tells us, if I step back and then go up, here we'll meet. And here's the question, is smart money ready to stop defending all this defense area whose breakout would imply an aggressive macro Z referring to this bearish impulse? Remember, W and poor as a concept and a Z that can develop? Let's see, it all makes sense, We just have to understand key structural areas that the price presents to us and see what they want to do to us, see how it reacts to those areas and what implication it would have if they are surpassed, okay? In the end, what is the message? Pure speculation. Let's keep being positive, and when will we stop being positive? This is clearly of interest to you. When will we stop being positive? Look, simple. From this current hypothetical Bitcoin trap, well, we start to fall and this, instead of being a flat pattern, breaks through and confirms. Here your last breath is this. If we see that after the confirmation the fall begins, we are no longer positive. Here we will not be positive at all. How do we see this in the rest of the cryptos? Look, with Ethereum, nothing. Just that the Z ends up developing something, some kind of structure, I don't know how, but we'll see. And if they pierce us, we'll see. We have to wait for it to develop a little. It would be so strange to me, honestly, to be so negative, but well. But of course, you have to be prepared. I know we have to see to say, hey, no, we're not going to look for this. Nothing. Basically what I've told you, right? Basically what I've told you. Yes. It would be positive, of course. Now trying to turn the market around, I'm thinking, in Bitcoin, for example, saying, well, okay, we can be positive, but for intraday trading, it might make sense to try to work the trap that justifies you, even if it's a flat pattern that is not harmful, before going up and working on this. But of course, it's wanting to turn the market around, it's feeling smarter than anyone else, right? And you know I'm not very fond of those concepts. Look, the message is simple. Until proven otherwise, we're going to keep being optimistic, okay? Ethereum presents us with a macro Z. Ethereum presents us with a macro Z that can occur by breaking through the defense zone. If this is pierced, aggressive macro explosiveness can come here. Let's be positive. Look, there's a little disclaimer. If this is pierced, if it's not pierced, well, then we'll see here if we compress and look for the opposite side. But until proven otherwise, we're going to keep being optimistic about the market. Long positions. Well, by breaking through the defense zone, perhaps it could be a good area, waiting for this to break the test. Look for the entry in Ethereum, so to speak. In Bitcoin, if there's a post-trap pullback, a long position can be sought here. Another long position. Here, tight stops. You know that's what we like to look for, the replication of this movement. We'll see from where, right? And trying to cover once and for all. That gap, that has me worried that every time I go to sleep, I remember it. Well, folks, I hope you found this live stream interesting. If you appreciate these live streams, very soon we will reopen access to Crypto Insight. Be the first to know by following Crypto Insight's YouTube videos. And remember that the new spots will be limited. Now tell me, what do you think of the crypto market? Leave me your opinion in the comments. Also, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon so that YouTube notifies you of future posts. And don't forget to share this content with other trading and cryptocurrency communities. Good luck with your operations and see you next time.